The other day I had a request on how exactly I put this together and kind of what was involved. So I'll show kind of its current status and what I have, and then I'll kind of disassemble a little bit to show what I did inside and kind of explain some more of the wiring here. So originally this is the HME solar battery pack. I had a battery inside here and utilized this solar panel on this. The idea was that you could put this on a tree and hang it near the game camera. The internal battery here was going bad, so whenever I go to charge it, it would just flash green and red, so indicating that it wasn't charging. So started looking into it and found that there were several issues of that similar nature with these. So instead of scrapping the entire thing, I figured I could try to repurpose it. I already had this, the solar panel, and the cord. So really I just needed a battery. So I tapped into here, got a battery like is used in a UPS, the backup battery supply, so like a uninterruptible power supply, the UPS. So I have several of those where they've gone bad, and we have additional batteries. So I took one of those batteries, put some connectors on here where it can connect, and then it becomes a usable battery supply again for the game camera. So then the only thing I did here was tie the solar panel that needs to be cleaned, tied the solar panel into it so that it could do a little bit of a trickle charge from this, since it was originally part of it. So the nice thing about this is with this all hooked up, you can still recharge it using the port that is on the HME device. And then once I hook it up, you also get the power indicator there. I just have it unhooked for right now since I'm going to be taking it apart. So I'll go ahead and get this apart a little bit, and then we can take a closer look at what I did inside and what was involved in the wiring here. And just to show quickly, on the back there are several spots that use a fine tip Phillips. So I'll be taking all those out and then just putting them in my metal tray here so I don't lose any of the screws. So once you do that, this back then just comes off. So I'll work on that. Okay, I got all the screws out, so then this just comes apart like this. So there's really not a whole lot to it in here. So you have a couple of small circuit boards here and the wires. So these two small wires here are the ones that went to the battery that was originally stuck right here. So you can see some of that tape there. And it would sit in this location and then just had a couple of small wires. So what I did was I cut those wires from the battery that had gone bad. I then took and connected my own wires and got some of these spade connectors that you use on these terminals down here, and have that going there. And then I just put the zip tie on the back side so that it wouldn't pull through and pull on these wires. And then the other piece of it is this wire right here, or these two wires that are on the circuit board. So they went through and went to the solar panel. So because it was all one unit, it was mounted on it right here. This piece was there. So because I wanted to put it on the outside, so I want this to be inside the container so that it stays dry, since I've cut holes in it and everything. I needed to extend these wires so that they would come out here to this. So that's all I've done on that side. Is there's two small wires inside this. The main wire here, you can see there's the black and the red there. I spliced them together here, so that's in that shrink tubing. and then I just put it in a wire loom that I put through here, and then snuck the wire out, and then just soldered it back to what was already on the back of this solar panel. So really it's a fairly simple design, not a whole lot in here to go wrong. So have that, and then this piece right here is the output to the cord, so to the actual game camera. And then some of this circuitry here is for the LEDs that light up how charged the battery is. And then this bottom card is for the charging feature down here. So because it's all connected and I've connected it to the original wiring, it will charge this bigger battery. It takes a little bit longer, but it is able to push about 0.4 to 0.5 amps back through to charge this, so it's not very quick, but is able to do a slow charge on that. Again, just with this not being very big and the original battery not being the same size, that is the reason for that. I'll work on putting all this back together and then get it back in the box. But a couple more things to note. So this is just a standard 30 caliber Army can. That this one specifically came from Midway, USA, but you can get them at different places. It's nice because it does have the rubber seal in here so that it seals watertight. Here I just took some wire loom like you use on cars, and it's been wrapped with tape, but I put all those wires together, put it in there, and then drilled a hole and put a grommet in. I thought that would be enough to not let water in since that's pretty tight, and I wanted a little bit of flexibility in some of this, but I was getting water in here, so I'm going to silicone the inside and outside of this just to help with water penetration. And then the other thing is, so I've went ahead and upgraded this battery. I did have a smaller one in here. So the battery that I'm using now is this one here, and it is a 7.2 amp hour. So we'll see how that does for keeping charged. The smaller one that I had wouldn't last as long, so I'm hoping, and the battery may have been bad on that one. I'm not 100% sure since these are kind of repurposed. But I'm going to try this one next and see, so I'll get it all connected back and see, once I get it connected back to the game camera, see how long it lasts. So again, fairly simple design, not a whole lot going on here. So if you bought one of these and are having issues, this is a possible solution. Instead of just scrapping this, possible solution you could do to get it working again. So just tying into the wires that went to the battery, and then and this is an optional feature, so in theory you could cut this off and not worry about the solar panel if you don't think, and it doesn't provide a lot of charging, so kind of on the fence if it gives me too many issues, but went ahead and kept that, and it's just these two wires here that go through, and then I ran that here. So overall simple and fairly straightforward. So I'm going to put this back together. The other thing I did do, so there used to be more on the back of this to put on a tree so it would grab. I went ahead and cut that off with the bandsaw just because to fit in this box with this battery it was just too much. So I just cut that off so that it was a little bit more flush, but it still keeps the integrity of this plastic because it doesn't go through. So I'm going to put this back together and get some silicone here and get it fielded again. I hope that this helps someone that has one of these that maybe had the battery fail. And again, the symptoms basically not keeping a charge. Whenever you go to charge it, it would just flash green and red, so indicating that something was wrong. So possible solution to fix one of these HME solar panels, and hopefully this helped you understand kind of what's in there, and that it's not a daunting task to splice into that and get some power and make it a usable usable item again. So hopefully you found this useful. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the Spinners Undertaker Woods.